Hi everybody, and welcome back to Sew Along with Jan. So I did a little sublimation video. My favorite or my new toys was my brother's sublimation printer, and I did this a few weeks ago. And someone asked me, I had shown you a couple of my little wind spinners, and the people were asking about how to make those with the sublimation printer. So I decided to do a video about how I actually make the wind spinner. And this is one that I just made, and it's a patriotic one. So since we're still in July, we can still do patriotic stuff. So here's my little wind spinner with the butterfly and the like the flag design on it. I did this real pretty red, white, and blue flowers, and that's what they look like when they are flat. So we're going to press these flat and we're going to print out the sublimation papers, the printouts with my brother printer. So I just thought that it'd be fun to do a little video about how I do this. So here are my little sublimation pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the computer, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to print these out. We're going to print them out on my Brother SP1 Sublimation Printer. And then I'm going to move over, and I have another new toy to show to you. So this is like the third new toy. I mean, I've been buying a lot of new toys lately. I love new toys. So I bought an HTVRont handheld press, so like a heat press. And we're going to press this new wind spinner with that press. So yeah, I can show you how that works. I've shown you the regular heat press, but I wanted something that would be a little easier to move around with me and like move around if I was doing larger items. So I got one of these handheld presses, and it's the coolest thing. So I think you'll like that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my computer, and I'm going to pick out another one of these patriotic designs to print out. These are all free designs from jennifermaker.com. So I will link all of this stuff in the description in the video below so that you can find these. And she has the most beautiful designs, and she has lots of beautiful sublimation designs. So this was a pack that had like, I don't know, it had like 10 or 15 designs in it, and they're all really pretty patriotic designs. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to pick a different one so we can do another patriotic one. All right, so give me a moment. I am going to switch I'm going to bring this a little closer here so you can be able to hear me. I need to get close to my microphone. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how we're going to print these out. So give me a second here. This looks a little weird. So you'll be able to see my screen here in a moment. And I am going to go into my Google account. Now my Google account, just my regular Gmail account that I use all the time for my email. And we're going to go into Gmail. And I'm going to use something called Google Drawings. And it's a little free program so that I can print these off. I can create my little design, bring it open in there, get it the right size, and then I'm going to save it as a PDF file, and then we're going to print it off. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm in my Gmail account here. I'm going to go over here to where it says Google Apps, and it's like 9 little dots over here on the right. I'm going to go down to the word Drive, and then that brings me open to Google Drive. If I click the word New, I can go down on the left here where it says More, and then it says Google. Oops, second here, Google Drawings. So that's what we're going to choose. Having a little trouble keeping it. There we go. Google Drawings. I'm going to click Google Drawings, and it's going to bring open a new empty piece of paper for us to do our design. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go under File, and I'm going to go, second here, File, and I'm going to go scroll down a little bit, and I want to go to Page Setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my page setup a custom page setup, and it's going to be the size of my piece of paper that goes through my printer, which is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to go 8.5. So we're going to take our custom I made it custom here, 8.5 by 11. And then I'm going to click apply. So now when I look at my screen here, I look like I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper sitting on my screen here. Okay, so now I want to get my PNG. Jennifer usually, jennifermaker.com usually makes her designs for sublimation as PNGs, which are really good files to use. So I'm going to go to Insert and Image, and then I'm going to upload from my computer. And the files that I'm using are called, they're in my documents, so I'll show you how I get to it. They're in my documents under Jennifer Maker, and the file name on her website will be called Patriotic, oops, I think I passed it over here, Patriotic Wind Spinner is the name of it, Patriotic Wind Spinner. And I'm just going to go into the PNG file here, and then here's all these designs. I think there's 8, 12, there's 16, 17 files. So I think I'm going to use, I already did one of the flower ones, and I did the butterfly. So I think maybe I'll do either the eagle, there's a really pretty eagle one here, or there's a real pretty one with flowers and the flag. Maybe I'll do that one. I just like the red, white, and blue. So let's do that one with the flag with the flowers in the front. So I'm just going to double click on that, or click it and then click open. And it's going to open on my screen. Okay? So now we need to get this to be the size we want it. So I want to make it, I measured my blank, my little blank sublimation wind spinner, and it was just under 8 by 8. I'll measure it again. You won't be able to see me do this, but I'm just measuring it again to verify. And it was just under 8 by 8. It was like 7.9 by 7.9. So we're going to shoot for about 8.1 by 8.1. I want to make it just a little bit bigger. So let's see here. If you go under, it's selected because I clicked on it. I'm going to go ahead to go to Format Options, and I'm going to open Size and Rotation. So I'm going to click that. And I want it to be about 8.1 by 8.1. So it's a little bit bigger than that. So I'm just going to change the sizes here, 8.1 to 8.1, and hit Enter. So that should be now the correct size that I want. Okay? So we're actually going to center this in the paper, because the paper, there's not going to be much left. So I'm going to go ahead and center this. And to do that on this Google Drawings, you grab a hold of it with your mouse and pull down, and you'll see that there is a red line that's going to show you where the center is. And if I pull it down, you'll get a red line going like an X across. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but it should show the line, and then it's centered in the paper. So that would be a good place to put it. If I was going to put some smaller piece underneath, I could do that if I left it at the top, but I'm just going to center it for this particular exercise. And I think I'm happy with that. So if I want to name this design, up here, there's a little box that says Untitled Drawing. I'm just going to click in there, and I'm going to type in flag, oops, I can't spell, flag flowers. Okay, and I'm going to hit Enter. So now I have a name for my Google drawing. Okay, so instead of printing this directly from here, I am going to download it to my desktop as a PDF file. So all I have to do is go File, Download, and as a PDF file. I have a little bit better luck printing this way. So I'm just going to print it as a PDF file. So I've got it flag flowers. I'm going to save it to my desktop like that. So there is our design that we're going to do. We've got it the size we want it to print. I'm going to go ahead then, and I'm going to minimize my screen, and then we're going to open this up. If I double click on my flag flowers PDF, it's going to open this up in the free Adobe Reader. So you do need to have the free Adobe Reader to do this printing. So it's very easy. Just look up Adobe Reader, free Adobe Reader. You can download it and put it on your computer. So I use this all the time for printing, and then it also reads PDF files. So it's very handy. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I've got this up here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the print button. And I want to print this to my Brother SP1 printer. I am going to make sure that I am set up under here. I want the custom scale to be 100% because I want it to print the exact size that I produced it in Google Drawings. So I have it at 100%. I am going to click the Properties button because what that's going to do is take me into my Brother printer settings because there's a couple of things that I want to do. So I'm going to click Properties, and that brings up the properties for my Brother printer, my Brother Sublimation Printer. I want to make sure I'm at quality mode, which I am, 8.5 by 11, which I am, portrait, that should be good. But I'm going to click Advanced. I want to turn on the color enhancement because I want the colors to be true colors. And I also want to make sure that I have my printing mirrored. And we are going to do 2 prints for this because we're going to sublimate on both sides. I want one side to be mirrored, and then the second one we're going to print will not be mirrored. I'm going to deselect this so that way when it spins, it looks like it's the same on both sides. Now, if you have lettering on one of your wind spinners, you won't be able to print one of them unmirrored. You'll have to print both of them mirrored because of the lettering, because you want the words to be readable. So in this case, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to print one mirrored and one not mirrored. Okay, so we'll leave the mirror on for this one. I also want to click on Other Print Options, and I'm going to click on Improve Pattern Printing, and I'm going to reduce smudge, and I'm going to turn that on so that it lets the ink dry so that it won't smudge when it's coming out of the printer. And I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click OK at the bottom of this little box here. And then I am going to click Print. So it's going to print over here to my sublimation printer. So if you give me a minute here, I will switch the cameras when I get it started to print. I'm going to click Print here, and then I'll probably stop the video for just a moment while it prints. It does take a minute to do it, so I thought I'd turn this on so you could see it printing with the camera. So here's the camera, and it's starting the print. So what I did is I measured my blank here, okay, and it was just a shy of 8 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so this is the blank that I'm going to be using. And so now it's printing the first one, and this one's the one that's mirrored. So when you look at this, when it turns, hopefully you can see this, can you see that it looks like it's the same on both sides, but it's actually one is mirrored and one is not. So I'll show you how to bend these two when we get ready here in a minute. So I'm going to set this up here. And this is going to take a few minutes to print, and then I'll come back in a moment and we will print the other side not mirrored. So give me a moment and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's our first print, and this is the print that we mirrored. So here's our flag with the pretty flowers. Now remember, when these print out of the sublimation printer, the colors may not be all that pretty. They'll be much more vibrant when we press them with the heat, but this is the first print. Okay, so I'll put this aside, and we've got this one all ready to go. So let me put this aside. And then we're going to go back to my PDF file. So let's go back to the design. And this time we want to print it that it's not mirrored. So they're going to be opposite of each other. If you have lettering, remember, if you have lettering, you need to print them both mirrored so that you can read your letters. But in this case, I can print them this way. And normally with wind spinners, you would want them to look the same on both sides. As they spin, it would look the same. So that's why you mirror one and you don't mirror the other one. So we're going to go ahead and print the second one here. So I'm back in my Adobe Reader, and I'm going to go back into Properties. I'm still at Custom Size 100%. I'm going to go back into Properties here, and I'm going to, everything should have stayed the same with the exception when I want to go to Advanced. And here I'm going to deselect Mirror Print. Okay, everything else should have stayed the same. I'll check all my other settings. Everything's the same way I set it before. I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to click OK at the bottom of the screen. And then I'm going to hit Print again. And this is going to print the second one that we'll put on the other side. And this one is not going to be mirrored. So when these print, that it is so neat the way it looks when it spins, that it looks like it's the same print all the way around, but there's two prints and one's mirrored and one's not. So give me a moment and we will wait till this prints, and then we will be moving over to where we're going to do some heat pressing. Okay, so here's our second print, and if I put them both up here, you will see their mirror images of each other. So there's one that's mirrored and one that's not. Okay, so when I put them on each side of the wind spinner, then they will look like they're the same on both sides. So I think that's really neat. Okay, again, if you have words, you want to make sure that you don't do that. You don't want to mirror or not mirror both of them, because your words will not be readable. Okay. So we've got both of our prints printed. I'm going to move over to the table where I'm going to do the pressing so you can see what I'm doing over here, and I'll show you how to prepare the blank, and we'll press the blank on both sides with my new toy. I love this little handheld press. It's really awesome, and it works really, really easily. So I'll be back in just a second after I get the camera moved. Okay, so I've moved us over here to where we're going to be using my little handheld press, and this is the HTVRont Easy. Well, I don't know if they call it Easy Press, but it's like a handheld press. It's a heat press. HTVRont heat press. They have several different colors. I like blue, so I ordered a blue one. And I also wanted to tell you about something else that I've purchased, that this is wonderful for sublimation. Jennifer Maker has this wonderful book called the Sublimation Cookbook, and she has got, I don't know, 150 plus different sublimation blanks in here, and the instructions on how to press them. So it's so nice, because then you can just go find what you want. You can find out how long you have to press it, on what type of press you have, because she gives you all the different times and also what types of presses that you have. So I want to do a wind spinner. Wind spinners are on page 72 of her book. And I'm going to look at this. It also shows you how to put the pressing pad on, how to put your papers. We need to have some paper, so you don't want to have any sublimation ink on anything. And it shows you how to make your sandwich as well. But then down here, it's going to tell me how to cook it. Okay, so like there's a traditional heat press, like I showed you my little pink craft press that I have. So if I was going to do it in there, I would do it at this temperature listed here. There's an auto press, which Cricut has an auto press that is a wonderful 12 by 15 heat press. But what I'm using basically is what they call an easy press. So here's the easy press Cricut has. This is very similar to that. So I'm going to set this up for the same temperature. So this is very simple to use. So again, I'm showing you another new toy I have. I actually really like this. It has a nice base here. Has a little heat base that you set it in. And it's like a big iron. Has a great big iron on it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on by touching the power button here. And all the lights are going to turn on here. And according to Jennifer's book, and I will also link this in the description. According to this, it says to put it at 360 degrees. So I'm going to touch the little heat button up here, and I'm going to set it to 360. You change the temperature by using the negative and positive buttons. So I'm going to set it at 360. And then it says to press it for 120 seconds. So I'm going to hit the time button here, and then it tells me to put it at 120. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I have it set at 120. You would also then use these negative positive buttons here to change the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit that. So now it's all ready to go, and it's heating up, and it's at 200 degrees already. And this actually heats up very quickly. This little button here will turn green when it's ready to go. Okay, so I'll just set this back here while it's heating up, and we'll get this sublimation blank ready. Now this blank, give me a second here, I'm going to move this over just a little bit. I wanted to show you that first. We're going to get our blanks ready. So I'm going to take my 2 prints that I have done, and I'm just going to cut this white paper off the bottom just to get it out of the way. I thought it'd be a little easier to get things lined up if I don't have all that extra paper on there. So we're just going to cut this off with the scissors along the edge there. I probably won't do the edges. They're not, the sides are not too much, so that'll be fine. So I'll lay that there. And we'll do this one too. It's a little harder when you got extra paper on to know where you're at. So I'm just going to cut it down so it's easier. And you could do this with a rotary cutter or with a paper cutter too. Okay, there's the second. All right, and it doesn't matter which one you start with. Either one's fine. And with these, I'm going to make sure I put my stars at the top. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of these. And here's my blank. Now, the blanks, not all, but a lot of the blanks, especially if they're aluminum like this, have a plastic coating on both sides. And I have a little trouble getting the coatings off. So if you take a piece of the heat tape or the heat resistant tape, I can usually peel it up. And this has like a plastic coating. So we're going to peel this plastic coating off of here. There's going to be a piece all the way around, so just start peeling this coating off. There we go. And there's going to be a piece on the whole thigh, and we'll do both sides. I'm going to get all of this off. And if I lose it, I grab my tape, and if I pull back on the tape, I can usually get it to come up a little bit so I can get a hold of it. There we go. All right, so we got all those little pieces there, and then there's a piece here in the center yet. So we got to get our center. Make sure you get all that plastic off, because if you try to sublimate on that, it won't work. And now we're going to turn it over, and we're going to do the other side. So and not all blanks do have this, but a lot of the aluminum ones do. So this one's being contrary, so I don't know if I can get this one or not. Sometimes I have to take my fingernail to do it. I don't want to. You want to be careful not to scratch your blank. Sometimes I have to use my nail to get the blank started. Oh, there it goes. It's going now. Okay. So there we go. We're going to pull this off. Trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So I'm getting these pulled off. This is all along the edge here. Looks like there's another piece right here. I've got my tape. Sometimes my tape just gets a hold of the edge of it. Okay. Don't think we have the middle yet. There's still a middle piece. There we go. There we go. All right, so we got both of those pieces off of there. So we've got that. Both of the blanks, sides of the blank are pulled off. So I'll leave my tape here. I might need my tape later here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my tape runner. This is just a regular tape runner, and I'm just going to go over the blank. We don't want any dust or dirt on our blank. So if you take a tape runner over it, it will pull all that off after you've touched it. You can also use rubbing alcohol. A lot of people do that, but I usually just use a tape runner. Okay, there we go. So there's our tape runner, and that's all clean to that. All right, so let me get this moved over just a little bit more. Now we need to prepare our blank with our design. So let me lay this down over here. You need to make sure you have a pressing mat underneath your heat press. So my heat press is right here. I have a wool pressing mat with a piece of like ironing board fabric over the top of it. And then to protect that, I have a piece of, this is just white cardstock, and it's good to use white papers to cover because you don't want to use any colored papers because sometimes they will leave a mark. So I've got this white paper, and I'm going to take one of my sublimation prints, and I want the stars to be at the top, so I'm going to lay this down on the paper, and I'm going to lay my blank on top of it, and I'm going to situate it where I would like it to be. Now, this does have a top and a bottom. Can you see the little ring? This is where I'm going to hang it from. So I want to make sure that I have it laying pretty straight on here where I want it. And there's just a little bit all the way around the edge, which is good. And I want to get it lined up so that it's straight as I can. I think I'm going to go up just a little bit, and that looks pretty straight. Okay, so I've got it laid where I want. Now I'm going to take my heat-resistant tape. This is my red heat-resistant tape, and I'm just going to tape this down to my blank. And we might trim a little bit of this off. It doesn't matter. You wouldn't have to trim it off. Now remember, we're going to be sublimating on the other side at this point. So, and I may lint roll my design one more time. But I'm just going to put tape all the way around the outside edge here just to hold this down for me so it won't move. We're going to tip this over so that the actual print is on the top. But this is the good way to get it lined up, is to lay it with the print up so then you can see where you're laying it. So I'm going to tape this around the outside edge so that it won't move for me. I'm kind of a taper. I figure, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a little extra tape because then it's not going to move when you try to tip it over. Okay, so there's our design. And then I'm going to just very carefully, oops, you know what, I got it taped to my other cardstock too, so just a second. I may have to pull this up. I have a couple of the tapes to my cardstock. There we go. It'll be all right. All right, so I'm going to tip, I want my sublimation print to be on the top, and I'm going to lay this down, okay, like that. And then I'm going to take my butcher paper. I've got butcher paper. This is just plain white butcher paper. I do not want to use like colored paper here. You could use another piece of cardstock. That would be okay too. But I love these butcher papers that I have. They're like 12 by 12, and they are pre-cut, so it makes it really easy to just lay it down. If you're worried about it coming through, you can lay 2 on the top. So I'm actually going to lay 2 on the top because I might have a little bit of paper of color come through. So we're going to put that on the top, okay, like that. Now I think my heat press is warmed up. It says it's 360, and I'm ready. And then also Jennifer in her book said that the pressure should be light pressure. So this heat press actually is really cool because it tells me how many pounds of pressure I have. So basically I'm just going to kind of lay my hands on it. I'm going to pick this up, and you want to pick it straight up and set it straight down on here. Then I'm going to just put my 2 hands on the press, and I'm going to hit the green button over here. I don't know if you can quite see it. There's a green button right here. I'm just going to hit this, and it's going to count down to 0, and it's 120 seconds. So it's, in other words, it's 2 minutes. I'm just going to leave my hands on here, and I'm going to hold it down for the 2 minutes, and then it's going to beep when I'm done. So I can go ahead, I think I'll go ahead and stop the, I'll just pause the video for a minute while this is counting down, because it does take a minute for this to do this, obvious 2 minutes. It's at 90 seconds right now. So I'll just go ahead and pause for a moment, and I'll come right back on when it is done. Okay, so this is about to beep, so it just beeped, and I'm going to pull straight up and set this back over here on this little pad. And then we're going to let this cool. So you can see there's kind of a little brown spot where the heat was, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. We won't use this again because if you can see, I don't know if you can see very well on there, but you can kind of see the marks, and then you might have a little bit of ink on there. So we won't use this again. I'm going to let it cool. I'm going to let this cool off for just a moment, and then we will remove the print and reveal it. So it's always so exciting to get to reveal it, but it does need to cool. It's very hot right now, and I like to let it cool. I do have my heat-resistant gloves here that I'll probably take it off, but I usually let it cool a little bit until it's, you know, I can basically touch it with my hands so I can get the tape off. So I'll be right back, and then we will reveal the first side of our wind spinner. Okay, so I think this is cool enough. You don't want to pull the paper off right away because after you remove the heat, this will kind of continue to sublimate. So you don't want to have anything get what they call ghosted, or like let too much of the ink can get smudged, that kind of thing. So we want to make sure that we don't start unveiling this too early. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling this tape off. And it's not too bad so I can actually touch it. It's still pretty warm, but so I'm going to pull all this tape off, and then we're going to turn it over. So it's pretty awesome. This is so much fun to reveal these. I mean, it's just almost, I remember the first couple of that I did, I was like, oh my gosh, it's just amazing how different they look than when you print them, because the printing is kind of dull and boring looking. And when you ooh, I do need a glove though. It's still a little warm. Let me stick one of my gloves on that I can hold on to it. There we go. It's still a little warm. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is these pieces are on here. So if I pull it this way and pull back on it, I should be able to get the tape to come off. There we go. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? I'll put this down on the floor here. Isn't that pretty? Let's get the rest of this tape off of it. Oh my gosh. How pretty is that? So here's the stars right here, and here's our, so this is the reverse side. So we're going to do, so then when we turn it over, we're going to do the other side. Oops, I got some more tape on this side. There we go. All right. So here's our flowers. Aren't those pretty? And these are the star field. This is the star field over here. So when we put this on, I'll show you how we do this. When you lay it down, then you can actually line it up so that it lines up and you can see it through the little holes. So let me get this off of here. And there's our first side. I'll bring up my next piece here. So here's another piece of cardstock, and we'll lay this down. And I'm going to lay the other print down on this side, because we're going to be putting it down on here. And I can usually tell where things are by just laying it down. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell what's top and bottom here. I wonder if it didn't mirror one of the sides. I wonder if it didn't mirror one of the sides. I may have to reprint this one because it doesn't look like it mirrored. This one mirrored. So, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it goes this way. Here we go. I think I got it. Okay, there we go. I had it a half a turn. Okay, so then when you look at the rows and the colors, if you look down along the edges and through the little holes, you can tell if you're lined up with the print or not. And because it looks the same then through the back. So I just had it turned one quarter of a turn. So I can see that I'm lined up here with my flowers. You know, I can see the flowers up here along the edge. And that's how you line it up, is just you make sure everything lines up and the stripes are lining up and the hearts or the stars are lining up here. So that's how you do it. You just kind of line up and you can see through if it looks the same from the back. So I don't know if you can see that too well. As I stand up, I can see it better. And I'm getting it all lined up because see, I can see the leaves here all lined up and the flowers right here are all lined up. and along the edge here, like my little stripes are lined up. I think I'm just a little off though. Just a little bit off, so I'm just going to turn it just a little bit more. Oh, that looks better. But then that's how you line it up, because you can tell if your flowers are lined up with the other side. Okay, so now I've got it laying down there, and I'm going to take my tape again. I apologize, I have a four-legged helper here, so she may be in the picture here shortly, as you can see. Hopefully she didn't shift my print too much. Let's see here. Yeah, she kind of shifted it a little bit. We'll have to just reposition. She likes to help me, you know. And of course, she also always thinks it's time to eat. So she's trying to get food again. All right, let's get this line back up. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. So let's go ahead. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera here. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down just like I did the other side. Got it all lined up the way I want it. I haven't really used this press too much. I love it so far. I've used it for a couple of large items and for these, and it's working really well. And it's just, oh, it's going to turn off. I'm going to hit it again. Whoops, I think I just turned it off. Okay, so hopefully it'll stay on for a minute while we get this taped down here. So we're ready for the second piece. All right, just a second here. Putting tape all the way around. You want to make sure nothing shifts on you. So I think we need a piece here. A piece up here. All right, that looks pretty good, I think. Kind of taped down to my paper again, but that's okay. I can just kind of lift it up real careful. There we go. And we're going to turn it so that the print is up. And lay this down on here, again, just like we did before, on the cardstock. So this is cardstock down here, and then I'm going to put 2 pieces of butcher paper on the top, like that, so that nothing will bleed through. I don't want to get anything on my press. All right, so now we're going to pick that press up, and we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. So I'm going to push over here a little bit, and I'm going to pick the press straight up and bring it straight down. And then I'm going to hit the green button over here. I don't think you can quite see it, sorry. There's a little green button. I'm going to hit this, and it's going to count down for 120 seconds, and then we'll have our second press. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off while that is counting down. It'll take a couple minutes, and then I will come back and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so the press just beeped. We're going to lift it straight up. Just be careful to lift straight up to put it over on the little pad over here. I am going to go ahead and turn this off then. So here's the off switch. I'll just go ahead and turn it off so we don't leave it on. And this is going to need to cool for a minute while I'll go ahead and take these 2 pieces of paper off. And you can see that there's a little bit of a print on the paper. So that's why you need to use butcher paper and maybe some cardstock to cover up your surfaces so your ink doesn't leach out onto whatever you're pressing on. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to let this cool just a moment, and then we will reveal the second side. So I'm very excited about getting the second side done too. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've let this cool, and I did remove the butcher paper. And so I'm going to put one of my gloves on because it is a little warm, so I can get the tape off here. And whoops, got to get a hold of it though. All right, so we'll get the tape off so then I can use I'm going to hold it with the gloved hand so that I don't burn myself, because it is pretty. They do get pretty warm because, you know, we had that set at 360 degrees. So all right, so we're going to take this tape off. It's amazing how beautiful these are. I just was so shocked at how pretty they were. Okay, so there's our second side. So I'm going to go ahead now and see if I can get the paper to come off the tape here for the second side. Take my glove and hold it down here. Get the tape off. There we go. Oh, there we go. And you can see where the little, the little holes were in where it bends. So Oops, it's pretty hot. All right, get that out of our way. We need to finish up getting the tape off of here. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty. I like red, white, and blue things. So here's our red, white, and blue flowers. Aren't they pretty? And then it's the opposite on that side. So pretty. And so when this, we're going to go ahead and bend this. I'm going to go ahead and let it, I'm going to go ahead and let it cool just a little bit more before we bend it. So I'll just let it sit here for a minute. And I'll show you the other one that I bent so you can kind of see. A lot of times if people are selling these, they just sell them flat like this, and then you can bend them any way you want. But basically we're gonna just go into the center here and bend it from the center, and then it will make all these other pieces go out too. So I was just waiting for this one to cool down a little bit, and then they have this cool little swivel hook that goes on it. These are the most wonderful gloves. They're heat-resistant gloves. So if you start doing this, go grab yourself some gloves, because man, those really help. Because this gets pretty warm. Oh, isn't that pretty? So pretty. So pretty. I like red, white, and blue things. She had so many cute things for patriotic things this year. And then she has lots of other sublimation designs. This is jennifermaker.com. Lots and lots of sublimation designs you can print off. So I have a lot of her things that I really enjoy making. Okay. I think we're cool enough. Well, it's still a little warm. Waiting for it to cool off a little bit. But let me grab my other one that's already bent so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to hang these outside. Now, if you're going to hang them outside, what you really need to do is there's some UV protectant spray. I think Krylon might make it. I don't have any yet, so I was just going to hang these inside, so I wasn't going to spray them. But if they're going to be outside in the sun, outdoors like on a patio or on a outside, you want to spray them with a UV protectant spray, and I believe Krylon makes it. You probably can find it at a hardware store or someplace like that. But I'm not going to spray mine because mine are all going to be hanging inside. So they're not going to fade, but that'll keep them from fading. All right, and these are the 8-inch wind spinner blanks, just so you know, so that we have, I have this printer is 8.5 by 11, so I just bought the 8-inch ones. You can buy 10-inch ones, and I'll do another design, one of these days I'll do another design that's bigger to show you how you would like piece your 8.5 by 11 pages together so that you can do larger pieces. Okay, so the way this bends is I'm going to take the center, this big center piece, and I'm going to just turn it. So I'm just putting my fingers on the center piece, and I'm going to start turning it, and see the little tines then go with it. See how they kind of go with it? And then I'm just going to kind of bend it until I'm happy with the way it looks, and I'm going to bend the little outside pieces until they look nice to me. So you might have to bend them separately. I might want to go just a little bit further this way. There we go. Because you want it to look kind of round, you know, like that. Isn't that pretty? And then, so it's pretty easy to do them. But most people that sell them leave them flat in a package, so then people can bend them the way they want them to look. So I'm just going to kind of, finish bending it so that it looks nice and round. I'm not sure that I like my center yet, so I think my center needs to go just a little further, like that. There we go. So then you just bend it the way you want it. Looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little swivel hook that comes with it, and it's got a little hook on the top, and there's little holes up here, and I can just put it through. Make sure I get it on the top here, because I think that's where my stripes are. Yeah, so this goes on the top. And then I'll put that on there like that. And then when I spin, see, it spins like that. So when you have them out in the wind, they spin around in the wind like that. Isn't that pretty? So that's the wind spinner. And this is done with the sublimation, the new Brother SP1 Sublimation Printer. One of my new toys for the month of July. My other new toy that I just got this was my HTVRont hand press, my heat press. And didn't that work great for this little small stuff? It's a little easier, it's a little more portable to move around than your standard heat press. So I wanted to show you that as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I will make a list of where you get all these items. I did get the wind spinners from Amazon. You can also buy the wind spinners, these 8-inch ones. Hobby Lobby has them now because I've gotten a lot of my blanks at Hobby Lobby. So these are at Hobby Lobby now too. So they have them there, and I bought like a pack of 5 or 6 on Amazon, so you can find the wind spinners. With the 8.5 by 11, I did order the 8-inch ones so that I wouldn't have to piece my paper. I have learned how to do that, so I will show you how I do that. But I like the smaller ones because then I don't have to worry about it. I can just print them and I can make my wind spinners. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the little video about the wind spinner, the sublimated wind spinner, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do, to Sew Along with Jan. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope you will try out making wind spinners with the Brother SP1 Sublimation Printer. Isn't that awesome? These are so much fun. I'm just really enjoying making these. So thanks everybody, and have a great day.